Καλώς ήρθατε. Thanks for watching Your Greek News. This week's episode is brought to you by the Your Greek newsletter. I'm your host, Anastasia. We recently checked out one of Toronto's largest sci-fi conventions, Polaris 21, where we caught up with Marina Sirtis, fresh off the set of her newest movie, Inalienable. For those of you who don't know who this lady is, Marina is only the biggest sci-fi bombshell in the last 20 years, and she's best known for her role as counselor Deanna Troi from Star Trek The Next Generation. If you've checked out my profile on the Your Greek News website, you'll know that Marina's listed off as my favorite Greek celebrity, so sitting down with her one-on-one was a pretty big deal. Hi Marina, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Fantastic. So I have to start off by saying that I know a lot of Greek parents aren't that supportive of their kids getting into creative kind of things, and I heard that yours weren't. How are they now that you've reached this level of success?
Well, of course, when I told my parents that I wanted to be an actor, that was code for them to, I want to walk the streets at night, you know, for money. But my dad was kind of secretly supportive because when he lived in Greece, he was an extra in movies.
I feel like dads are like that. Yeah. My dad's a musician. So
okay, right. So my mom didn't ever really come around until I was probably the third or fourth season of Star Trek. Because when I told her that I got this great job in America, she didn't believe me. She thought I was lying just so I could stay in America and not go home. But finally, you know, the trading cards and stuff started coming out, and when she opened her wallet one day, and there was a picture of me, a trading card, you know, and so I knew finally she was proud of me. So that was good. And actually, she passed away about 1.5 years ago, but. And my dad passed away way before I ever got Star Trek, so he never saw it.
Oh, okay.
But we kind of, she was proud of me. I mean, she never told me, obviously, being a Greek mom. Right. But everyone else told me that she was proud of me.
Fantastic, fantastic. Now, speaking about Greeks at large, then, I mean, what kind of support have you gotten from them?
None.
Really?
Yeah, really, because I don't actually. I don't know where the Greeks are in LA. I mean, I see them at church, you know, when I go to church sometimes, but I've never really, you know, had any kind of support from them. There's a wonderful society in New York. They run a paper called the Hellenic Times.
Oh, okay.
And they have these great, they give scholarships to poorer Greek students to go to college and stuff. Right. And so they've been supportive. They actually named an award after me one year, and they honored me one year, and so that was great. Right. But that's really the only time.
Really? Well, it's funny because when we were talking before, you were saying that you never really even, you know, called yourself Greek or used to say that you were until you came to America. But you grew up Greek.
I grew up totally Greek. Okay. I grew up totally Greek. Greek school Tuesday nights after school, you know, learned all the Greek dances, had the Greek outfit. But in England, because I was, I suppose, first generation British, I was very, very gung-ho pro-England. Okay. In fact, I have to say, guys, that even when England play Greece in the football, in the soccer, I support England. Sorry.
Wow.
You know, sorry, I know you're all turning off the computers now, but that's where I spent my whole life. You know, I've maybe spent 2 years of my life in Greece, so. But when I came to America and I would tell people that I was English, they would say, you're not, you're Greek because your parents are Greek. And so suddenly I went from being English to being Greek. And the funny thing was, when I became Greek, I started to like Greek music.
Hilarious.
And now I have all Greek music in my car.
Now, how would you say, I'm curious now, how would you say being Greek has influenced your career or motivated you in any way, has it?
Well, I think it's actually made it a little harder just because of the colouring. Okay. Because, you know, when I lived in England, I didn't look English. Right. So I never really got the lead in anything. In the theatre I did, but on TV and in movies, I was always a supporting character. So that was one of the reasons I went to America, because I figured that, well, no one apart from the native Americans are American. Everyone else is from somewhere else. Exactly. So, and that was true. That's what happened. But it does, you know, and purely, you could be Mexican, Italian, Greek, Indian, whatever, that slight brown, it does make it a little harder.
Mediterranean olive tone kind of thing. That's interesting. Now, in terms of, I mean, you do a lot of sci-fi. When you were younger, were you kind of like geeky Greek? I wouldn't say so. But
I was the bad Greek girl. I was not geeky at all.
Although I have to say, I heard from someone the story that when you were about 7, you were out taking the garbage out or something like that, and you were scared of the garbage cans because they look like Daleks.
They look like Daleks.
So there was a bit of geek there, or something.
I love Doctor Who. I did love Doctor Who, but we only had 2 channels in those days, so if you didn't, so if you didn't watch Doctor Who, it was probably a documentary on a lizard or something. There wasn't a lot of choice.
Okay.
But I did like Doctor Who, and the Daleks scared me, and the Cybermen scared me.
Ah.
Yeah. But my own personal taste doesn't go towards the sci-fi. It kind of goes toward chick flicks. I like chick
Oh, really?
flicks. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Steel Magnolias is my favorite movie of the last 20 years. Yeah.
Fantastic. Now you've kind of worked in a lot of different mediums. Theater, TV, film, animated stuff. What have you enjoyed the most out of all those?
Theater.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I loved playing Councillor Troi for 7 years, and then 4 movies, obviously. But I love it. I love the theater. Well, A, you have an audience, and there's an energy that you just cannot reproduce anywhere else. And B, you do the beginning, the middle, and the end in the right order. Okay. Which is fantastic. And I was trained at a theatre school. It was we didn't learn about TV and movies at my school. It was very, very old-fashioned in that way. And I thought I was going to be a theatre actress when I left. I had no clue that I was going to end up on the small screen. Interesting.
I guess working in this industry, have you collaborated with any other famous Greek people on any of your projects?
Well, only Nico Mastorakis in a movie in Greece called Blind Date that I think they might have renamed because of the Bruce Willis Blind Date. And actually, I ran into Nico about 5 years ago outside a movie theatre in LA, and he took full credit for my success.
Are you serious?
Like a good Greek. He said, I discovered you and I put you in my movie. And I didn't like to tell him I'd been acting before I ever did his movie.
Gosh,
but
hilarious.
it's, I thought that was so Greek. It was brilliant. But any other Greeks? Well, I would love to work with Rita Wilson. Ah. Because to me, she's the big Greek champion because she has the resources, to help other Greeks. Right. And I think she's an amazing woman. Michael Dorn and I have written a script and we're going to try and get it to her. Fantastic. So, I think she's a wonderful, wonderful, just proponent of the Greeks in the business.
Fantastic. I guess my final question is, what's next for you?
Well, I have 3 movies in the can, so hopefully they'll be coming out at some point. I literally just finished about a week and a half ago on a movie that Walter Koenig wrote. Okay. And it's kind of sci-fi. There's an alien in it, but it's not necessarily sci-fi. It's about people's rights, I think, more than anything. And I play a lawyer, and I've never played a lawyer before, and I love playing a lawyer. Did you find it really challenging? I loved it. It was like, it fit like an old shoe. Really? Really was amazing. Change of profession, perhaps? I was actually offered a place at Georgetown Law School when I finished. Are you serious? I swear to you. The guy who was my second chair was actually a law professor at Georgetown Law, and he said, anytime you want to change career, there's a place for you. I know. Don't tell. Oh, thank God, my mother's dead. She'd make me go to law school, even at my age. She'd make me give up the business and go to law school. Okay, well, you know what? Thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you, Anastasia. Na se kala. For more information on Marina Sirtis or the Polaris 21 convention, click on the links below if you're watching this on yourgreeknews.com. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to join us next week. I'm Anastasia, bringing you your weekly dose of Your Greek News.